Hi everyone, welcome to this Pilates practice. My name's Debbie. I'm going to be taking you through the practice today. If you're new to one of my practices, then do feel free to read my blog on YouTube channel. So that's the little bit of the little profile about me, and you'll find out a little bit about what I do, how long I've been doing Pilates. Otherwise, we're going to get started. With Pilates, we breathe in through the nose, we breathe out through the mouth. Every breath in, we pull in our core. Every breath out, we pull the core tighter. So we're pulling the core all the time. Today, we're going to start trying to work up to do the splits. Now, it's not something I can do, but obviously there's ways of working up to it, and I'm actually going to be doing those moves today. So it's going to be working around the hip flexors, the glutes, and obviously the hamstrings. So it's opening everything up, preparing ourselves to do the splits at the end. Not that I'm going to get there, but I'm going to do these practices because it is something that maybe I'd like to try and eventually work myself up to, but it's a case of continually doing it and working those areas to make sure that they're stretched out. You need a couple of blocks if you've got them, or something that you can perhaps hold on to at the end when we're going to support ourselves. Or if you haven't got that, you can use a boulder or a rolled up blanket or something just to support yourself right at the very end of the practice. So kind of come down to laying. You can come down from your side. If you have low blood pressure, it's advisable to come down from the left. Otherwise, you come down with me from a seated position. So we sit up nice and tall. We have our feet hip width apart on the mat. We take our arms out in front. We breathe in, we pull in our core. And as we breathe out, we C-curve down. Okay, we're curving that spine down. We're not dropping back. So we're holding our core tight as we do this. Breathing in, pulling in the core. Breathing out, pull the core tighter and start to roll yourself down. If you get to a point anywhere where you cannot hold it, take behind the legs. If you're not being able to hold yourself from your core, take behind your legs and use them as support. Otherwise, you come down very slowly all the way to the floor and you lay. Okay, you get yourself comfortable. We're going to take a little check-in, see how our bodies are feeling today before we move on to the practice. And then everything that you notice about your body, every area that might have a little bit of a twinge, not feeling so happy today, focus on them and be mindful of them throughout the practice. Okay, so start laying down, closing your eyes if you can, getting yourself into a nice comfortable position. Sorry, the music seems to have stopped. Let me see what's going on. It's always nice to have a little bit of background sound, even if it is very quiet and gentle. So you're laying nice and long. If you've got lower spine issues, you can take your feet mat width apart and lock your legs in. So we're just going to take ourselves long onto the mat, allowing the legs to become heavy and dropping down. Taking our arms out to the side with our palms facing upwards. Bring our shoulders up. Release our shoulders back and down behind us. Gently move your head from side to side, releasing out your neck. Coming to center. Maybe wanting to lift your chin. Just gently lift the chin to chest. If you do, pull in that core and then release it back down. And then once you down, you can release the core again and start to rest in. So allow the feet to rest and drop down. Your ankles, your calves, your knees and your thighs. Allow the legs to be restful. Have a quick scan of those legs. How are they feeling today? Any areas you need to be mindful of throughout the practice. And focus on your lower core area. Tailbone, your pelvis, the lower spine. Let it be soft. How's it feeling? Ask the whole thing to soften down. Try not to tense anything. Release your mid-spine, your tummy, your upper spine and your chest. Torso heavy, rested. How's the spine feeling. Allow it to soften. And then onto your hands, your wrists, the lower arms, the elbows and the upper arms. Both arms rested down. How are they feeling? The areas that you might need to focus on throughout the practice, be mindful of those, remember what the areas are. And then let the shoulders be heavy. And your neck, and finally your head. Relaxing the facial muscles. So allow the jaw to rest down, cheekbones, the eyes, the forehead. And then do a scan of your body from the tips of the toes all the way to the top of your head, seeing how you are feeling and focusing on those areas that you have to be mindful of today. Taking a big deep breath in through the nose and release with a sigh. Big breath in through the nose, release with a sigh. Keeping the eyes closed if you can, start to wriggle your fingers and your toes. Bringing some movement to the body. And then when you're ready, everybody meeting with their feet flat on the mat, knees locked in together, feet a mat width apart, taking the arms out into a T shape. And just parting the knees, taking in-breath, pulling in the core. And as you breathe out, allow the legs to drop over to the left-hand side. So this, you're going to feel, it is a little gentle spinal twist, but you're going to probably feel this hopefully in the glutes. This is the start of working the glutes to stretch them, and maybe even the thighs. Resting down there, don't hold your breath, just relax into that. And breathe in, pulling in the core. And at the same time, bring your legs to center, reach the center, keep the core held, don't let it go. Breathing in, pull the core tighter. And as you breathe out, drop the legs over to the right hand side. Hamstrings are going to feel stretch here. Breathe into areas of tension. You might find it in the hip area, you might find it in your lower spine. Breathe into everything, ask it to soften. Don't hold your breath. Breathing in, pulling in the core. And at the same time, bring your legs to center. Allow the core to release. Okay, so we're going to take our first glute stretch. So we're going to bring our right leg over our left. We're going to take our hands behind our left leg and we're just going to pull it up towards us from behind the thigh. You're going to feel the stretch down the back of your hamstrings. You're going to feel it around the glute area. So we're going to pull that in towards us, feeling that stretch. We're going to hold it here. We're not going to let it go. We're going to hold it here. We're going to rest into the stretch. So don't hold your breath, rest into the stretch. We're going to hold it here for a while. And as you breathe in, you can release the stretch off. As you breathe out, pull it slightly closer towards you. Feel the slighter stretch there. So breathe in, pull in the core. Breathe out, feel the stretch towards you, and then you can release the core as you rest into the stretch. Keep holding it. You can close the eyes down if it helps you to focus internally. And then if you're feeling that stretch is good, you can take the top leg and you can raise, so that would be the leg that you're holding. Sorry, I'm saying top leg, that isn't really, is it? So it's the leg that you're holding on to, straighten it if you're feeling that you're okay to do that. Again, breathe in, pulling in the core. And as you breathe out, hold the core tighter as you squeeze closer towards you, and then release off and just hold it, relax into it. And if that's still good, you can take your hands around the calf of your right leg, the leg that's long. And you can do the same here, stretching towards you. Breathing in, pulling in your core. And as you breathe out, hold the core tighter, squeezing that towards you, feeling the stretch down the back of the glutes, around the hamstring area. And then relax into it, feel the stretch. You should have no pain. If you've got pain, release off. And then gently come out of that stretch. Okay, legs now hip width apart. Take a breath in, pulling in your core. And as you breathe out, holding the core tight, drop the legs over to the left-hand side and just release off. Rest into that, breathe into it, release down. Breathing in, pulling in the core, and at the same time holding the core, bring the legs to center, don't let the core go. Breathing in, pull the core tighter, and as you breathe out, drop the legs over to the right hand side, releasing out there. Breathing in, pulling in the core, and at the same time you're bringing the legs to center. Breathing out, hold the core tight, and release. This time we're going to take the right leg over the left, and we're going to do the same stretch on this side. Okay, so we're going to lift up, hands behind the back of the left leg on the thigh, pulling it in towards you. Feeling the stretch, so you're going to breathe in, pulling in the core. And as you breathe out, squeeze that leg in towards you and then hold it here. You can use your right arm to push your right leg away, making the stretch more intense. But we're holding it here. Breathe into it, resting into it, asking areas that are tense to soften. And then if you're ready, you can take the left leg long, taking around the hands around the calf and bringing that in towards you. So breathing in, pulling in the core. And as you breathe out, you squeeze that leg in towards you a little bit more, using the elbow of your right arm to push the right leg away. And then holding it here. Relax into it, let everything go. Breathe into tense areas, asking them to soften. So sorry, you should have been holding behind the back of the thigh there. I've stepped up too quickly. If you're with me, just stay where you are. If you were holding behind the thigh and you want to now take the step further, take behind the calf. And then release down. Okay, amazing. So now you're going to take your right leg over your left. You're going to breathe in, pulling in the core. And as you breathe out, drop the legs over to the right hand side. A little deeper stretch around the glute area. Hamstrings might feel a stretch. And of course the lower spine, because it's a gentle spinal twist we're doing here. Breathe in, pulling in the core, and at the same time bringing your legs to centre, using your core to do so. Uncrossing the legs, keeping the core tight, don't let it go. Taking the right leg over the left. Breathe in, pulling in the core tighter. And as you breathe out, hold that core as you drop the legs over to the left hand side. And fall into that. As you just relaxing into it now. Breathe into those tense areas, feel the stretch. And your next in breath, pulling in the core, and at the same time, bringing our legs to centre and uncrossing the legs. Let's just give ourselves a little hug here, so breathe in, pulling in the core, and as you breathe out, lifting both legs towards you, squeezing them in, and releasing down. Okay, let's bring ourselves over. We're going to deepen and do some more stretch work here. So first of all, we're going to go into what is known as pigeon pose. So we're going to bring our right leg forward and open it out, dropping the right leg back and the left leg is bent. This is pigeon pose. So we're getting an opening here. Again, you're going to feel this around your hams, your glutes, which is what we're intending to stretch and open. A little bit of the hip flex is going to be starting to come in now as well. So dropping, and then if you want to come down onto your forearms, so feel the stretch. Relaxing into it. And you can take your hands away as well, if you wish, and rest your head onto the floor. Pushing yourself up, push yourself upwards, release that leg out. You might want to give the leg a little shake. So now bringing in your left leg, folding your left leg over, so we're aiming to get the heel of the foot into the hip flexor area, and then we're holding it there, stretching down, holding it, feel the stretch around your glutes, around the hip flexors, and then if you want to come down to your forearms, and then if you want to take the arms long. pushing yourself up, coming onto your all fours and giving the leg a little shake. Okay, amazing. So the next one we're going to do, so what we're going to do now is we're going to bend our left leg. We're going to take our right leg out, so we've got a right angle here, if we can. Don't worry if you can't. We're going to, this is sort of opening our hips now. We're going to bring ourselves around so that we're facing over our right leg, and we're going to rest ourselves over, and we're going to feel the stretch here around the hip flexors, trying to keep the glutes nice and firmly onto the mat behind you, rather than both cheeks or the left cheek lifting up. Again, we're holding it here. Those hamstrings are going to be filling it. Should be stretching out. And then releasing yourself up, taking that onto the other side. So now got our right leg out and our left leg, so we've got the right angle here if we can have it. Don't worry if you can't. If your leg's further forward, then that's absolutely fine, but we're still getting our opening here, and then we're breathing in, and as we're breathing out, we're bringing ourselves down over our leg. We're aiming for our forehead to go towards our calf. My nose sort of comes down towards my knee, really. Rather than just hanging the head and dropping, we're stretching forward to feel it down the back of the leg, down those hamstrings there. Breathe into those tense areas, and then lifting yourself up. Amazing. Well done, guys. Okay, so the next hip opening bit we're going to do is frog pose, which is not my favourite, but it's taking our feet out so that we've got our feet outwards, and we drop ourselves down and we push our body backwards into those hip area, opening that out. Gently holding it down there, breathing into the tense area. And then pushing yourself up. So the next one is we're gonna, it's like a lunge, we're doing our lunge here. This time we're going to try and bring our forearms down for the lunge here. So we've got our right leg forward, our left leg is back. We've got our lunge position, so we can go into our lunge first. Okay, so we're lunging down here, we're opening up around our hips. You feel it in the hamstrings as well. And then if you want to bring your hands down, do here. I would pull your core in here as well if you can, because it does help. And then if you want, you can come down onto your forearms and opening up down further. So whatever position, wherever you feel comfortable, holding it there. Breathing in, breathing out, trying to squeeze the core here as well. It's helping to support the spine. Breathe into the tense areas. Ask everything to soften, but keep the core slightly pulled in to protect your spine. And then gently pushing yourself back up, come back to that lunge, holding the core tight, hands down to the side for support. pushing yourself back and then coming back, taking the flex foot on the right, stretching that there, down the back of the hamstrings, feel the stretch, pull the core in, and then releasing up and bringing that leg round. We're now going to take that on the other side. So we're going to bring our left leg forward and we're going to go into our lunge on our left side, sinking down into the lunge. You can start from here, keeping the core pulled in, breathing in and breathing out. And then if you want, you can take the hands down to the side, take both hands to the inside of your leg, breathing in, breathing out, keeping the core tight. And then if you're ready, you can come down onto your elbows, or onto your forearms, and hold the opening here. Breathing in, holding that core tight. We almost let mine go there. Got to protect our spine. Feel the opening. And then pushing yourself back up again. Hands to the side, coming up for your lunge, resting into the lunge. And then taking your hands down, bringing the left leg, foot flexed, bringing it up, holding it there. Feel the stretch down the back of the hamstrings. And then release off. Okay. So we're going to stand now. So take your hands so they're flat on the floor if you can. Just hang here like a rag doll. Going to come up slowly. So it's hanging here. You can take behind your legs and you can pull yourself down. You can feel the opening down the hamstrings, which is what we're looking for. And then drop, breathing in, pulling in your core. And as you breathe out, you roll yourself up very slowly, one vertebrae at a time, shoulders, neck and head. Okay, so we're going to take our legs wide. We're going to do some more opening of our hips here, so we've got our legs wide. We're going to come down to a flat back position first. So I think I've shown you this before. When we come into a flat back position, we're just here. Okay, we're not dropping right down, we're just here. You can have your hands wherever you feel comfortable, but the back is what we call a flat back. Our flat back, and we're just holding it there. So we're holding it here for a little while. Feel the opening in the inner hips. Just in flat back, don't move further forward yet, we're just holding it here. Keep the core pulled in. And now you can drop your hands down and you can take your legs perhaps a little bit wider for the hip flexors to open a little bit more. Pushing yourself up, turning your right foot out, keeping the left leg where it is, and bring yourself down over the right leg. And feel it down the back of the right hams here. And then walking your hands around, it's taking the left leg out, squaring up your right foot, and then coming down over your left leg. core if you can. More difficult when we're bending down, but when we're doing these sort of folds, it's quite nice to protect the spine. And then bring your hands back to centre, heel toe your feet together, and again let's hang here like a rag doll before we go in to our stretch. We're trying to do the splits. Just hanging here. Might want to rock yourself gently forwards and backwards. You might want to do a little twist, however you're feeling. And take your hands underneath your feet, keeping the legs as straight as you can, stretching down, pulling with your hands, pulling down for a deeper stretch down the back of those hamstrings. Hopefully you was feeling that a little bit in the glutes as well. So then bring yourself all the way back up, very slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Shoulders, neck and head. Right, we're going to go down, we're going to do a downward dog and stretch out our legs a little bit more there, and then we're going to come round and we're going to try and have a go at doing some splits. Shoulders back and down, breathing in, pulling in the core, and as you breathe out, your chin goes to your chest, your neck comes down, your shoulders come forward, your hands to the front of your thighs. Now squeeze in, really pulling your core here. Protect that spine as we're rolling down. Breathing in, squeeze your glutes tight. As you come down to the floor, reaching the floor, walking out and coming out into your downward dog here. Squeezing into your hands. Okay, you can slightly bend those elbows as you push your chest towards your thighs, and then walk out your legs. Stretch those hands, stretch the glutes, really stretch, pushing away and coming up onto your tippy toes, and then go down both heels and stretch, stretch, peaking the core cord, and then bringing your knees down. Let's come round. So this is where you can have your blocks, so you can have the blocks, so they're height, full height up here. Okay, you're going to bring your leg out and you're going to gently allow your heel to move further forward and your back leg to go outwards, holding on here. You can take it so the blocks are shorter rather than the other height. Again, coming back down, feeling yourself come down. If neither of those work for you and you haven't got blocks, you can take a rolled up blanket or a boulder and you can use that to come down on, using that as support while you're stretching your legs, your hamstrings, and obviously moving into splits position. So you're obviously going to be feeling it quite now, unless you're super human and you can do the splits, which I know lots of people can, but that's definitely not me. I would like to do it, so hence I've started to do these stretch practices to work myself up to it. I feel quite happy with the blocks, so it's a case of taking the leg forward and inching yourself down as slowly as you can and getting to your point of comfort and holding it there. Breathing in, pull that core tight, support your spine. You might be able to walk your heel a little bit further forward, you might be able to drop the leg a little bit further back. And then release off, take the legs wide, heels together, and come down into a child's pose. Just for a moment, we're going to go back to the splits again in a second. We're just going to release ourselves off. Breathing in, breathing out. And pushing yourself back up and take yourself back into the split pose, whichever way you feel good. I think a lot of people start like this with their knee on the ground and their foot out, and they push their leg forward and they inch their other leg backwards. So another go here. holding it where we can, maybe coming down a little bit deeper. I've come down a little bit deeper that time, which I'm quite pleased about. Holding it, breathing in, pulling in the core, support the spine, and then bringing yourselves back. And again, let's go back into child's pose. Whatever's good for you. This might be quite nice to take the hands on the back this time, so you're pushing down slightly, getting a slightly hip opener, a little bit more. Don't push with the arms though, just let the natural weight push down. And then we'll push ourselves up. We'll have one more attempt, and then we'll come into some final relaxation, which I think is well deserved after a practice like this one for me. Out we come down, breathing in, let's breathe out, come down a little bit further. Holding it here. I'm going to hold for 8, 7, hold the core tight, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Absolutely amazing. Well done. Gosh, I'm even pleased with myself. Yay! Okay, taking the blocks to one side. Let's just take our child's pose again. Toes, so we've got our toes blocked in, hip, knees mat width apart, breathing in, pulling in the core. And as we breathe out, lower ourselves down into child's pose. Before we relax there, walk the hands over to the right hand side and feel the stretch down the side of the body, down the left hand side of the body, holding it there. Then coming back to centre, walking the hands over to the left hand side, feeling the stretch down the right hand side of the body. Centre, resting down, really resting down into that child's pose, wherever's good for you. And then pushing yourself up, bringing yourself round. Coming into full relaxation now. I think we've done plenty of stretching, so we don't need to do any more. Taking our arms out in front, pulling in our core, and as we breathe out, we roll down one vertebrae all the way to the floor. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Get into your point of comfort, whether that's feet and knees locked in, or whether it's your legs long. Start to rest down there. Resting every part of your spine downwards, letting it be heavy into the mat beneath you. Taking the arms overhead, holding gripping the fingertips together, turning the palms away from you and stretch the arms upwards, and then pulling in your core. Push the back down into the mat and stretch away with your toes. A nice full body stretch, holding the core tight, pushing the back down, pushing the toes away, pulling the arms away, and then release. Now flex the feet, clip the arm, unclench the arms, unhook your fingers, and then push away with the fingers and the feet flexed, pushing away and releasing down. Fabulous. Okay, bringing the hands down, palms facing upwards, feet dropping outwards. Let's take some final relaxation. Thank our bodies for the practice that it's just done. All 10 toes are rested. The soles of your feet, the tops of your feet, your heels and your ankles. Both feet rested. Your calves, the back of your calves, the front of your calves, your knees, the front of your knees, the backs of your knees, the thighs, fronts of your thighs, backs of your thighs. Let them hamstrings rest. They've done a lot of work. Let them be restful now. Let the hip bones rest down. They've done a lot of work too. Your pelvis and the glutes, they've also worked hard. Let them be soft. Your lower spine, your mid spine, and your upper spine. The whole spine lengthened into the mat beneath you, soft. Your core, let it rest. Your chest, let it rest. All 10 fingers, the backs of your hands, the palms of your hands, your wrists, the front of the lower arms, the back of the lower arms, the elbows, the front of the elbow, the back of the elbow, the tops of your arms, the front of the top of the arms, the back of the top of the arms, and your shoulders. Both arms, shoulders, heavy, released, but yet soft. Release the neck, and finally release your head. Let's rest our facial muscles. Maybe parting your lips, removing the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Rest the cheekbones, your nose and your nostrils. Resting your eyes, your eyelids, your eyebrows, your forehead. Releasing the frown lines. Let everything just be soft. And release everything through the top of the head. Your whole body surrendered to the ground beneath you. Just your natural breath in your tummy as you breathe and it rises and falls. Take your concentration to that breath. Any thoughts that come to you, just acknowledge them, let them go. Come back to them another time. This is your time. Your breath, your body, your rest. Allowing yourself to get deeper into that restful moment. Heavier into the mat beneath you. start to bring some movement back to our bodies. Wriggling your fingers, wriggling your toes. Taking any movement that's good for you to wake yourself up. You might want another full body stretch. Whatever's good for you. When you're ready, take yourself over onto your side. Left hand side if it's low blood pressure, and gently push yourself up to your comfortable seated position. Keeping the eyes closed down if you can. Rolling your shoulders back and down. And again, taking a big breath in, raising the arms above the head, taking the palms together. And as you breathe out, gently bring the hands down over your forehead. May you have kind thoughts. Past your lips, may you speak kind words. Down to your heart centre, may you be full of love. When you are ready, give yourselves a bow and give yourselves a clap. Well done, guys. Super. See you again soon.